He will be in the building shortly. And you know, of course, this is your girl, Mrs. Kiwi. And I am excited on tonight because we have special guests in the studio.
Yes, 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 yes. We want to bring to you someone that I have found very amazing. What she has that she's going to speak to everyone tonight is going to knock your socks off. Believe me, I was amazed when it was that I did my research and I had not heard of it before. So when you learn something new, you get excited about it. And I literally got excited because this is something that we at Why Not Say It speak to all the time. And it's all about communication. So without further ado, we're going to bring to you none other than, her name is Gina, and she's going to introduce to you herself and her world. Gina, welcome in.
Welcome.
Thank
It's a
you.
pleasure to have
Thank
you
you.
here. I am so grateful to be here, and my husband Scott is also here.
Welcome.
He's an integral part of the development and creation of APP2Speak.
All right. We are interested and excited to learn more about APP2Speak. You have a great product going on, so we would love to hear more.
Absolutely. So, APP2Speak is a mobile app that you download onto your Apple iPhone or iPad. It is photo based, and for someone who may have lost their ability to speak because they may have had a stroke or a traumatic brain injury, they can just simply touch a photo and speak.
Okay. All right now. So can you explain a little further about that as far as how the app works?
Yes. So if there are preset photos on 4 pages, 80 photos indicating an immediate want or a need. For someone who may have had a stroke, like I had mentioned, they can just touch a photo
I love you.
Okay.
and it speaks. So there's immediate wants and needs. You can also customize using your own photos. You can take a photo within the app. So someone who has family that they want representative, or different foods, restaurant, favorite things to do, they can customize and put phrases to those photos indicating those special needs. So, for example, the custom pages begin on page 5. Let's say I'm a fan of McDonald's. And so I can select McDonald's and I can create a whole conversation.
Let's go to McDonald's.
Oh,
Okay.
I would like to order a fish sandwich, a large Coke, medium fries. To go, please.
Wow, that's amazing.
so
That's amazing.
because when I went to your site, I was just at awe. Tell us what motivated you. What got this all started? How long have you been? What would you say your profession name is?
So I'm a speech language pathologist, and I've been in the field for over 40 years.
Okay.
My first 10 years, I worked with children, and my last 30 years, I've been working with adults in skilled nursing facilities, home health, outpatient, senior living, independent living, assisted living. And my inspiration to create it was when I was working in a skilled nursing facility, working with a couple adults who had strokes, and they were not able to speak clearly what they wanted or needed. And they would hold up a picture communication board, which is typical of what speech language pathologists would make temporarily for someone.
Okay.
But one lady in particular, she was using her iPad. She was on Skype, and she was Skyping her daughter who lived in Bulgaria.
Wow.
And she held up this picture word communication board pointing to different things.
Okay.
But on the iPad or the Skype, they could not understand exactly what she was trying to say. I could see, kind of the frown, the head turning. They became frustrated, and I became frustrated too. And so I went home and told my husband about it, and I said, there's got to be something out there. You know, the pictures are good because they're contextual, they're holistic, and adults really relate to personal photos. And so my husband Scott did a lot of research, and we didn't find anything out there as far as a communication system. We call it AAC, Augmentative and Alternative Communication.
Okay.
Anything that had specifically photos.
Okay.
There are apps and speech generating devices that help you to learn language and core vocabulary, which are more for the younger people to learn how to speak.
Okay.
But for someone who already had that ability and lost the ability, I was looking for something that was very simple and concrete. And without Scott finding anything, that was the aha moment that I turned the photos into a speaking app.
Okay. that is
So I
exciting.
know, Mr. Scott, you had she mentioned you. So what role did you play? What was that support system like?
Well, I was still working at Boeing as a engineer, and so mostly we were just trying to get this app off the ground, really. So and she found a developer and a software guy, right? So we sat around and talked about what it was supposed to look like and what it was supposed to do, and got mad at each other a couple times, but that was kind of funny. But anyway,
You did a lot of research
Yeah.
and a lot of
Okay.
support. We are
So
self-funded.
how long would you say that it took you all to actually get this together, critique it, and then put it out?
so we originally got it out there as a beta version back in 2014.
Okay. Okay.
Back then, it only had one page of the preset, and we had gone out and talked to other speech pathologists and other things, and they wanted more of the preset because they kind of wanted the app to if I hand it to somebody, they can go
Down.
Right to it.
right to it and use things,
Okay.
right? So like I don't know.
I need my doctor.
Okay.
So instantaneous use.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And then from and then starting on page 5, it continues through the rest of the thing. You can take a picture within the app, or take a picture from your library, pull something off the internet,
Okay.
and make your own pictures
Customizing.
and customize
Okay.
it for So, and then we were doing some more stuff, and they kept saying, "Well, what happens if we don't use these things like?"
I want my wheelchair.
Not everybody's in a wheelchair,
Right,
So
okay.
we don't want to use the wheelchair. So, next thing you know, we're turning pictures off and moving things around. And,
Okay.
so,
So can a client customize it to what their needs are?
Okay. That's
So on the preset pages, there's 80 photos. So the app comes immediately with 80 photos indicating an immediate want or need based on my experience of the clients that I worked with. And as Scott was referring to, if those 80 photos, 1 or 2 or 5 or 10, are not appropriate, they can turn them off. They can rearrange them.
Okay.
But right when they download the app, they can communicate basic wants and needs.
Okay.
And then as you were asking about the custom pages, they're endless.
Okay.
So most people customize according to categories. So they may have a page of family members and then a page of community things or favorite restaurants, favorite toys if it's a child, favorite, whatever it may be.
Hobbies or whatever.
Exactly.
crafts
And
or-
so you just
Okay.
customize that. And then one of the features that we added later then is the text-to-speech
Okay.
text-to-speech features. And so that's where the individual can, if they have the ability to type, they can type in messages. So if you think about photos, you can put so many photos about your wants, your needs, your likes, your desires, your hobby. But then there's this off-the-cuff conversation and you're like, I don't have a photo for that. So if the person has the ability to type, they can actually type in a message in the text-to-speech and speak it. And they can save it for future reference, for future use, so they can
Okay.
save frequently used words and phrases. So it kind of like the text-to-speech can be like the stopgap where the photos may not represent something, a conversation off the cuff.
Okay.
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 All right. So during the research, I see that 11.5% of the U.S. population are affected by speech impairment. Millions worldwide are impacted. How does that impact that person when it is that they no longer have the ability of something that they used to have?
Well, could you imagine not being able to sit here and speak?
No, because I like to talk.
Well, there you go. And you trying to
Easy
get your,
answer.
and you're trying to communicate, you want to get your stuff across.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, here's a guy coming out of surgery. He's intubated. He can't talk, and he's like,
Yeah, frustration.
right? So frustration sets in, whether
Exactly.
it's you, or whatever.
Exactly.
That's a scary
Right.
feeling.
It's a very scary feeling, you know. And you know, we had a conversation with another gentleman the other day. He said, "Man, I don't know what I'd do if I couldn't talk."
Exactly.
Right.
And so, APP2Speak, even, you know, there are a lot of people affected by speech impairments. Not all of them require an augmentative alternative speech communication system, but they require, some can be temporary. So, APP2Speak could be a stepping stone for someone who's recovering from being intubated, so it's temporary. For someone who has a stroke, because there's the auditory feedback, the visual feedback with the words and the photos, it can be a learning resource for someone who had a stroke. And again, it doesn't mean that APP2Speak or any speech generating device is permanent,
Right.
but it's a stepping stone, it's a learning, and it's a good resource to help someone to be able to communicate.
So have children kids been able to experience this pre-K version of this app? Like, how does this? Will kids be able to use this app if they were not able to hear or speak?
So children who are not able to speak can use the app, the custom pages mainly, which
Okay.
the parents or caregivers would introduce familiar photos.
Okay.
But generally speaking, children use an augmentative alternative communication system that provides that vocabulary,
Okay.
that provides them the literacy, the language, where they formulate sentences, where they use the pronouns and then a verb.
Okay.
And so APP2Speak directly was not developed for the children
Children,
language
okay.
learning.
Okay.
But what we are learning in the past year or two is that there are children who are not able to learn and or understand those other augmentative alternative systems, and they get really frustrated. And when you're frustrated, for children, they then have some behaviors.
Exactly.
And so what we are aware of and been informed is the custom pages. They use APP2Speak with the custom pages for straight communication with the young child, but they still use the other systems for that language learning, because you really need to teach the child the language, the core vocabulary, and the learning.
Okay.
So do you think that this would be something, or have anyone introduced it to those children that have autism?
Yes.
Okay.
For the children with autism, again, I do want to preface, it's more for adults, but we're finding out it is a valuable tool for the younger children that have some behaviors and are not adapting to other systems, and also the young adult autism that are, say, 18 out of high school. They may have used another augmentative system, but now they're going into the community. They are going to, not the Day Institute, but the voluntary workshop or some type of position. And the system that they're on is either outdated or just too bulky for them to bring into the community. And so with APP2Speak, they can customize the custom pages to their workplace, to their personal space,
Okay.
and it can be downloaded not only on the iPad but also on the iPhone.
Yeah, because I think that, I mean, just from what it is that I've researched and I saw, I feel that it would be a very good instrument for those children that have autism, because we know that that's a part of their not incapacitation, but a part of their mental is that they can't formulate that communication piece or speak. So I think that it would really motivate them, because we know children love devices, and that would be something that it would just be amazing.
Yes, it would be.
I think that it would really be good, if someone would pick up what it is that you have done, because I think it would be very instrumental to, autism, because a lot of the children that have autistic abilities, they are smart in other areas. So even though it is that they may not be able to formulate that communication, they are that's a part of it, artistic when it comes to being able to use a device or something of that nature. So if you tie that in, that could be an open world.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we have a story. A couple years ago, we attended an expo, it's called ATIA, Assistive Technology Industry Association, and it's held every year at the end of January in Orlando. And Scott and I, we had an APP2Speak booth to demonstrate and to educate people about APP2Speak. And that conference invites at certain times the public and their families to come in and look at. It's not just augmentative alternative. It's for vision difficulties, physical, hearing. So any kind of assisted device you can imagine, that's all the vendors. But we had this young adult come up to the booth, picked up the iPad off, went to the text-to-speech and typed a whole paragraph, and then showed it to his mom, and he spoke it, and I'm ad-libbing, but he said, "Mom," he said, "I like this app. It's quicker than my computer. My computer takes way too long to boot up. I can da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da," and on and on and on, and he went. And she took a brochure, he put the iPad down, and they, went about their merry way. But it was intriguing to Scott and I to see that, because, again, I'm prefacing my vision was more for the seniors, because
right.
that's where, where my profession was at that time and where I saw the need. But it was eye-opening to see him, and he did it in less than a minute, and it filled up the whole screen on the text-to-speech.
Oh, wow.
I think that would be really good. It really would be good. So, listeners, if it is that you are out there listening and you have that autistic child, or you have that autistic adult, or you have that child that has some form of cancer that has impacted their ability to speak, we have the expert right here. Call in and let her talk to you. And she can give you some information, which we're going to have Gina to introduce where you can find her website and all of that.
APP2Speak.
Yes.
APP2Speak.
Yes, APP2Speak. So, where can they find, Gina, information on your APP2Speak?
They can go directly to the website, which is app2speak.com, which is APP as in Paul, the number 2, speak.com. They can also find it in the Apple Store, but you know how that is. There's thousands of apps. You can type in exactly what you want and sometimes can't find it.
Exactly.
But the app is available currently on for iPads and iPhones. And as I said, it's probably easier to go to the website, and then you can click on the Apple badge to look. But the website, we have a contact us where we do complimentary virtual demonstrations.
Okay.
We do consultations. We also provide 14-day complimentary trials of the app. But we also have what we call an APP2Speak Lite version.
Okay.
And that version is less expensive, but it's kind of just a very mini version. We get contacts through the website at all hours of the night. And, somebody's mama had a stroke, or this happened or that happened, and they want a trial, they want it now. And so we developed the APP2Speak Lite for those people who just can't wait, through the night. The second reason why we created the light version is there's professionals like myself, and we don't get a budget for resources. And a lot of times we're using our own money to purchase resources to help our clients. And so it's reasonable enough for a professional to have it as a resource, to try it with the client to see if it might be a valuable tool. And the third reason is I do work in skilled nursing facility, and there are people who are on the hospice service. They are on the end of life, and as their condition progresses or regresses, whichever way you want to look at it, this would give them the ability to communicate some quality of life issues.
Exactly.
And so those are the three reasons. So there is an APP2Speak Lite if you want to try before you buy. But as I said, we have a 14-day free trial that I can set up if they inquire about it.
Okay.
So I know that you had mentioned funding. How hard has that been? And then I know that you stated that it's out of your pocket.
Yes. So you've asked what has Scott helped with. He's helped with the research and helped me I bounce off ideas and many other things. But he's very supportive because we are self-funded.
Okay.
And I just have a passion for it. I see who it helps. We have over 600 users. We are now. I had a virtual demonstration with a lady in Singapore whose husband had a stroke, and she just wrote me back the other day. She purchased it, and he is using it successfully, slowly, but successfully. So we have users in 16 countries. So to me, that's just so exciting to be able to reach not only here in the U.S. and Canada, but to other countries and to other people that need something that's very easy to use. And Scott would say, I have
A very expensive hobby.
So let me ask you this. How does the testimonies motivate you to continue to help improve the quality life for the impaired? So the testimonies that you have got from people that actually have used the APP2Speak, and, you know, I know you said earlier that you had one person that told you that they love using it, but, you know, I know you get a lot of people because that has helped a lot of people. So how does those testimonies really make you feel, and how does it help you to continue to do your research and, you know, add on to APP2Speak? Because I know there's many things that can come with that.
Exactly. It motivates me to continue. We are self-funded. We do have a business GoFundMe because we need to update the app on a universal platform so it will continue to work well on the iOS, but also potentially to update our app, which we were on Android, but we couldn't update anymore. So if we develop on this universal platform, we'll be able to push it out to multiple platforms. And so the GoFundMe campaign is one thing to help us to keep going, but the people that called, like the lady from Singapore, and we have a testimonial and a story about a gentleman and his best friend who had to have a laryngectomy, which means his voice box was taken out. And he was proactive, and he helped his buddy find APP2Speak. They trialed it, they, tested it, they purchased it, they pre-programmed it. He had surgery, and he came out of surgery talking to the nurses and doctors, and they were like,
That's awesome.
They've never seen the
That's
app.
awesome.
So that inspires me to keep going.
Okay. That's awesome.
And your GoFundMe, I know that it's a lot of different ways that you can generate the GoFundMe. Where can people go to donate or, sponsorship or anything of that nature?
I believe there is, if we go, can we go to the website? Just so I can we go to the website, Justin?
Mr. Miyagi, we need you to come out here.
Mr. Miyagi. I believe there is a button on the website for the GoFundMe. There's
Okay.
also a button for the light and a button for the full version of the APP2Speak. And let's see if Justin can pull it up. That's probably the best way because I don't have.
Okay.
Scroll down a little bit. Or scroll up, whichever way. Underneath there, I think.
I know him in that mouth.
Oh,
That mouse is crazy, Justin.
yes. You know,
Go
this.
over too fast. Go to your right. The little gray button.
Oh,
See, now
she
you
didn't disappear.
Okay,
You
so
know,
that's
I can't see nothing on
yeah,
this
that's
side.
the light version.
Okay.
So we need to go back to the website.
Oh, yeah, you really gave me.
You know you got to. I can't even.
Mr. Miyagi.
We didn't have computers when I was a kid.
All right, scroll up.
I heard scroll.
Okay, GoFundMe. See the
Okay,
GoFundMe.
yeah.
Okay.
So that's really the best way. I mean, there is, I think, well, I don't have them out, but
Let's see
I have some other with the QR code for people to go. But it would really benefit for us to help us to keep it going.
Okay. Yes. I mean, and it's very interesting, too. So, yeah, most definitely, callers, listeners, if you are out there, hey, the website is APP2Speak, isn't it?
APP2Speak.com.
APP2Speak.com. Go to APP2Speak.com. Hey, you are helping someone. It could be even a relative. We never know just how close to home this can, we can be impacted, and this could help. So if we can keep this going, if any of our family members or even ourselves were ever in this situation, then hey, we have the capability of being able to get that support because Miss Gina has this APP2Speak app and services is amazing. It really is amazing. It is amazing.
One of the better stories we have, we had a client that had lost his capability of speaking, and he had his wife take a picture of him holding a beer mug, and he had her type in "beer me." And so,
That was
so when
cute.
he would go with his buddies on was it Fridays or Thursdays or something like that, he'd go with his buddies and he'd sit there and push that button and say "beer me."
Beer me. Everybody knew. Beer me.
So
Okay.
that was, now you could tell him he wanted a beer.
Exactly.
So he used the app.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure we all know someone, that has had a stroke or, had to deal with cancer, where it has impacted their speaking capabilities. So this is very important. It really is important to have something of this nature, and I had never heard of it before.
No, that was
before.
the first time I heard of it. So,
Yes.
yeah, that's excellent.
We also have a story back on the website.
You know how to get back to the website?
I can't. It's weird looking from this side. Hold on. It's, this.
Yeah.
mouse.
So a couple back in.
It is. It's weird.
I'll start talking about it.
come on.
But
Okay.
back in 2017, Officer Gary Gillespie was a St. Louis police officer, was injured in the line of duty. And Art Holiday had I had reached out to Art Holiday about doing a story. I was working with a client who had ALS. She had a form of ALS called bulbar. And bulbar ALS affects mainly your swallowing and your speaking first before it affects you physically. Where the ALS major affects the physical first.
Okay.
Anyway, and so she wanted to do a story because she was using APP2Speak, and so I had reached out to Art Holiday on Channel 5, and we had to cancel it because she had fallen and wasn't able to attend. And then he reached out to go up to screenshots. And then if you can scroll down, the video should be there. So he reached out to me and wanted to see if I would do a consultation with Officer Gary Glaspie. One more. Keep going. 2 more.
Is that
Right there.
Okay.
The last one. And so if you want to play it.
Okay, yeah.
Five on Your Side has been following the progress of St. Louis police officer Gary Glaspie since a devastating car collision put him into a
Again,
coma
this was
over a
in
year ago.
2017.
Art Holiday has an exclusive
The
update that
consultation
includes
was
some life-changing
2018.
technology for the injured policeman.
Hello, I'm Gary Glaspie.
Gary Glaspie's technology instruction
Like
is
the
going
dude?
well.
Like
What do you want to do?
Yeah. Okay. Push that so the keyboard goes away.
Sometimes the most important lessons
Save.
are learned the hard way. In March 2017, a black pickup truck blasted into Gary's patrol car. Traumatic brain injury was the end result.
4 months, not talking, not seeing, not walking.
Glaspie is back on his feet after months of physical therapy. But in our previous TV interviews with Gary, it was obvious that talking was going to take time. Is it frustrating for you to not be able to communicate as well as you would like?
Yes,
Why?
'cause I can't talk. I want to. I can't speak more. I can't express myself.
I know that you want to be verbal as much as possible. APP2Speak is a stepping stone for you when someone doesn't understand verbally what you're saying.
For years, speech therapist Gina Baldwin wanted to help people like Gary who struggle to speak following health emergencies like stroke or brain injury.
Do whichever one you want.
I want to eat breakfast.
So there's 3 ways when you open up APP2Speak: the preset pages, the text-to-speech, and the custom.
Working with a software engineer, Gina created APP2Speak, a customizable iPad application for communicating with loved ones and friends.
Well, I couldn't imagine not being able to talk, and I see the frustration. And it's essential for everyday life for someone to be able to communicate, whether it's their medical needs, their emotional needs, and those that are unable to communicate creates social isolation.
I don't understand. Put on my makeup.
Okay. Any questions?
No,
What do you think?
right. You just want to get easier to communicate.
I'm happy to see that APP2Speak can be a benefit for him when his speech.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm getting teary-eyed, but I'm just very happy that you'll be able to use it and it'll help you. You're welcome.
That is such a blessing.
I'm so glad.
That is such a blessing.
Oh,
I was just gonna ask
Gary
you-
Glaspie's mother says he uses APP2Speak all the time and loves using it. The 3-year-old product is also helping people with autism, ALS, and Parkinson's disease. The cost is $79.95.
And Art, you, I understand, played
Yeah.
a different role in this story beyond the report.
I was gonna ask you because of the emotion. You know, I'm very emotional. We all are, basically, and that's just because of our from our parents. How does this touch you? Because it would just blow me away.
Oh, it touches me, and every time I see the video, and I know that was like 5 years ago, I was so shocked to do it. I didn't really realize he was going to have all these cameras. And Gary's sitting there, and he's going, and I'm trying to answer the question, and I can hear him. thank you. Thank you. And I'm like, let me finish, Gary. But, so no, it was very emotional. Every time I see it, it's very emotional. And, reading stories and talking to people it's just cool.
That's good. That's a blessing. That's a gift.
It really is.
Especially when you come up with something that you see people really using and needing.
Have a need. Yes.
Like, it's a need. I was in surgery once, and I didn't lose my speech long, but when I came out of surgery, I didn't realize my vocal cords wasn't working. So I'm trying to tell the nurse, I need to use the bathroom. I can't. I'm moving there trying to get her attention, and she telling me, calm down, just let it flow. Basically, she was letting me know that you could go ahead. It was scary because I'm trying to get everybody attention, and they just walking past me like I'm not. Like, I'm thinking I'm saying something, but it's not coming out. I know I'm not hearing nothing, too, and it was kind of a scary feeling.
It's a weird feeling.
Yeah, it is.
Real weird. And if you had something to say
something.
Even though she's, she'd say, okay, I know you need to go to the bathroom, but it's okay. You can,
Exactly.
And just think if you had that app and you started and said it to her, she probably would have been all like, what the?
Right.
Yeah, that's man.
That is really, really
So
good.
what do you have in the future, or what do you have coming, like what project do you have coming up next to add on to APP2Speak, or to even develop anything further than APP2Speak? Because that's awesome. I mean, you develop how they can communicate in speech, then I'm sure it's other things like, whether it's, I don't know. It's just, I'm blown away myself, but I mean, do you have anything else that, to add on to the APP2Speak?
What about blind people that can't see?
I'll answer him and then you can answer her.
Okay.
So people that are blind, there are accessibility features. So, for example, there's like Braille keyboards.
Right.
And Focus 40 is the first one that comes to mind. So if any accessibility switch or feature, if it interfaces with the iPad, generally speaking, it interfaces with the app as well.
Okay.
And I know, so the Focus 40 is a Braille board. And so they're using that keyboard. And I have to be upfront, I haven't seen anyone use it, but I have a colleague, acquaintance, that uses APP2Speak with a few small amount of low vision.
Okay.
And she's doing the testing, and she just tells me it works, but I haven't. She's up by Kansas City.
Okay.
We haven't connected for me, and you've got to get permission if you're going to video someone actually using it. But I know that uses, and any accessibility features such as like eye gaze, which is someone using their eyes. If you think of Stephen Hawking's, that used the technology, there's eye gaze, there's neural node, there's infrared. So anything that interfaces with iOS, generally speaking, is compatible. If it's compatible to the iPad or iPhone, then we are.
Right now.
And then to segue to your question.
So some of the updates that we've been really trying to get into this is, you go to different parts of the world. Right now we have our voice is kind of like programmed in.
Okay.
So we're trying to find more voices that you can shift it to. So say you speak Spanish and you're in I'm going to say a Mexican style type Spanish. It's a little bit different. The inflections are different than the formal Spanish.
Okay.
Right? So when you go to an iPad, you can tell it that what region you're in.
Okay.
Right? And what language you're going to be programming in. So the keyboard comes up in
that language.
And we're trying to get the voices that will also provide the inflection when it reads it.
Right. Okay. Almost like a translator.
Almost.
Okay.
But it's in their language.
Okay.
Right?
So for example, here's Spanish, and this is the voice that's in.
Pudo comer algo?
So it's I'm hungry.
Okay.
So it lack of better words, it kind of butchers the, like Scott said, the intonation,
Okay.
inflection. But people are still going to know what's being said. The other feature that we didn't mention is on the custom pages, you can record a familiar voice. So, for example,
Tengo calor.
Tengo sueño.
so someone who speaks Spanish or French or Chinese, for the custom pages, they would record a sibling or whoever in their native language, and then you would have the voice, that particular voice. But as Scott mentioned, our update that we hope to have by spring should bring the opportunity for, I guess, for lack of better words, better speaking voices or more inflection.
That's almost kind of good for people that have Alzheimer's as well too, like as to help them kind of memorize people's voices.
And also remembering certain things they like.
Exactly.
They got it already on there.
That app
they
is
would say they would like this.
awesome.
I would like that.
It could go so many different
It really
ways.
can. Like, if you all are tuned in or listening, please call in. You have the opportunity to talk to her. 515-599-1687. App to Speak. We are definitely talking about that, and it is an improvement for the impaired and anyone that actually need it. So call in and talk to us. We'll talk back. 515-599-1687.
Yes, this is very, very interesting. Knowledge is key. And when it is that you don't know, and if you have the ability to learn it or, be put in the face of, it is so important. So I know a lot of times people don't like to talk about what's going on or what they're dealing with or whatever the case may be, but closed mouths don't get fed. So if you don't know, speak up. And if you can't speak, you got app to speak that you can do it. You can do it, most definitely. Yes. So do you all have any other questions or anything for?
No, basically, I'm going to keep on sharing the word. I'm going to keep on letting people be aware of the app to Speak because it's awesome. For those who have family members, friends, or whoever, you need to look into the app to Speak. It's very interesting, and it also helps. It works.
So is it covered through insurance? I noticed that on there. I don't know if nobody asked.
That's a great question. So technically, insurance companies pay for what they call a speech generating device. When I referred to Stephen Hawking's, that's $10,000-$15,000+, right? And there's other augmentative alternative communication devices out there. But what I've been learning lately is that the consumer is appealing the denial. So the insurance says, oh, that's not, the iPad is not a designated speaking device. Dedicated. Thank you. And the family says, well, the iPad's X amount, the app's this amount, and apparently the insurances are
going with it.
Okay. It's 10,000 or it's $500,
$600, $500.
Exactly.
They go, hey, I think we're gonna do it. We're gonna do
I
that
know
now.
that's right.
And we do know that the VA Association is covering, because I've had people reach out. They're covering, they're purchasing the iPad if they don't have one and the app. And then there's Medicaid, the Medicaid waivers in different states. They're getting, assistive technology has really exploded. Every state has an assistive technology agency in their state, if not one. They have multiple. And they have a lending library, and so they, if you request app to Speak, they can lend you an iPad with app to Speak, or if you need something for your vision, special glasses, they lend it, and then through the Medicaid waiver, and some insurances then pay, and you order through the state agency within your state.
Okay.
Yes, that's really amazing, and I hope that more because they're all about money. They want to get the money from us, So this would be a way to help their clients that are paying them the money. Is this app to speak? So if there's any insurance agents out there listening, or just insurance companies, it don't matter. App to speak, approve it. Let your clients get it. They need it. They need it. Most definitely. Most definitely. So I want to.
Yes, and why not said we would like to present you all with a little token for just appreciation of coming on the show and hey, giving us some good information. And
thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Hopefully that can help out some, and the more we can help you all out as far as the app to speak, we'd be glad to do so. Coming on the show was a blessing for us, along with the ones who tuned in. We didn't get any callers, but hey, hopefully people are listening. If they know anyone, hopefully they reach out to you all, and keep up the good work, because it's a blessing. It is truly a blessing. It's truly a blessing.
And we're going to spread the word. We all have Facebook, Instagram. Hey, TikTok. It don't matter. However it is that we can help to get the word out there, so that, family members, because I had mentioned it to my mom. She was asking what was our show going to be about tonight, and I told her, and she said, oh my goodness. She started thinking about two of our cousins that her son just had a stroke. And, she was saying that he's recovering, but it's really a slow process. And I was going to ask you about that, too. But she was saying, she said, that would be good for her to listen. Well, don't worry. We're going to broadcast it. We're going to send out the link.
We have to bring awareness, because like I said, this was my first time hearing about it. But, word of mouth. And you all are already, out there. So the more people that know, the more people can, get involved and listen and use it if they're need, So that's great. That's I just would like to thank you all for coming on the show. Many more blessings to come to you all. More creating, and hey, more. Who knows what's going to offspring from this app to speak? So I just many blessings to you all.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it.
Yes.
We
Thanks for
appreciate
having
it. I appreciate y'all coming, and also appreciate the work you all doing. That's like great. Like that's a real give back to the people, really, because a lot of people need that, and that's something. To me, that's thinking outside of the box of yourself. Even if you don't need it, you see that that's a major need, because being able to communicate, that's major. Just like that officer was saying, like he's having trouble expressing himself, but that right there, that make it easy, and that's great. That's great, and keep up the great work.
Thank you.
Oh, and the other one quick thing is, this is a one-time purchase. It's not a subscription-based thing. So you have it. You don't need to be on the internet. We don't store your information. So we're HIPAA compliant. We don't know who you are, who bought it, whatever.
We just know the country.
All right. So if you're up on the top in an airplane at 45,000 feet, you can still talk to somebody sitting next to you.
Oh my goodness,
That's awesome.
So amazing. I mean, I'm just at awe. I could go on and on. That's one thing I can do is talk.
Too bad it's an hour show.
She's very a talker. Yes, she is. But this has been really good. And I'm glad that I was able to be in the studio instead of on the screen to meet you all personally and talk to you guys. We really appreciate you all coming, spreading the word of the app to speak, Gina and Scott. I'm not real good with names, so I'm glad I remember.
That's why I became an engineer.
But Scott, we appreciate you guys. Thank you for, coming to our show. So, and giving us the opportunity to be able to speak with you about it and learn more about it. So we are going to spread the word. I'll be posting it on Facebook and Instagram and everything.
We'll all have to connect, and then we can.
Yes, and
Yes,
then we can
most
share it.
definitely,
Most
most
definitely.
definitely.
Well, you know, we always come to this hour where we have to leave you guys, but this has been a great show. Thank you all for tuning in, to all our listeners, viewers. We appreciate you, Miss Gina, Scott. We appreciate you so much for coming on to Why Not Said. Many blessings more with APP2Speak. Till next Friday, we are out. Anything else? We love you guys.
Go to APP2Speak.com. That's all I got to say.
APP2Speak.com. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Can I get one of those ink pens?
Sure.
Purchase your tracks today.
This country